Welcome back. Now, we gotta talk about the interview with Jason Williams. I think everyone wants to know both of y'all's thoughts. So let's take a recap.
I think the guy was capping so much. That's why we needed a recap. There was so much cap going on. I don't even know where to start.
So you saying he lied this whole interview that we just did? The whole interview's a lie.
Put the poll up right
Hey,
now.
yo,
Pause.
man,
Yeah,
yo,
pause.
yo, God
I'm
damn,
saying, I'm
yo.
trying to.
Can't remember.
My bad. You right. I'm being unprofessional. My bad. We said we. My bad.
Yeah, let's be professional.
Yeah, my
for
bad.
this.
My bad.
So since we're professional right now, we don't have to say pause, but check it out. Right. He was lying about 95 to 92%.
95. Do you think that whole interview was a lie? 95% of it? What? Give me two lies. Give me two.
Okay. The first thing when I asked him about did the molestation go on, he never even answered it. He covered everything he did with an accomplishment. Everywhere there was brokenness, he put accomplishment there. What do you think?
Well, I want to know your second point.
And then when he said he jumped in the pool, he jumped in the pool after he shot the gun. And then he came back and said he called 911. It was just a lot. It was so many, you could just go down the list.
I will say this part though, my nigga. So the people, and no disrespect because somebody actually died or got hurt.
Right.
But he said it was almost movie like that. The person who did it, his friends dragged him to him and gave him a gun and said, "Finish him." This is the person who did this. And you
to his sister.
To his sister.
And he said he couldn't do it because he's not a killer. And then in another interview with Vlad, he said that he was talking with Michael Jordan and pretty much Mike said, "You're a better person than him."
Right. I just thought that was kind of dramatic. Not saying it's not true. I don't know, and especially the situations with his sister. That was
right.
That was pretty bad, but it looked like he had a drink. It looked like he had a drink before he came, or three.
He smelled like wine coolers.
My man's ready to pop a nigga too if need be. You see that nigga on deck. You ain't gonna come up in.
Yeah, you won't run in here with that.
Nah, you ain't no accidents today, baby. We ain't doing the accident thing. That
I wanted to ask you, but I couldn't get into it.
The nigga said he shot a nigga like this.
He said he did. He passed the gun.
He said he wasn't looking. He said boom like this.
And then he got another lie. He said he passed out like 7 guns, and on the 8th gun, it's the one that went off.
He did say that.
Do you think he was capping?
I think some of the situations weren't making sense.
Like what? Which
one?
one?
So in other words,
which one?
You know why I fuck with you, Step Baby? Because you say capping professionally. Some of the situations seem like they weren't making sense. In other words, he was capping. Okay, what situation didn't make sense in your opinion?
So there's a couple things. One, when he said that he immediately jumped in the pool and he was talking about why he did it, I didn't think that made sense. Also, when he was talking about—
But not to cut you off, because I like that point.
Yeah.
Because how you immediately jump in the pool if it's 100 yards away?
Yeah, that
and
didn't
how
make
did you
sense.
call 911 and jump in the pool? Which one, champ?
And he said he didn't remember that, but you don't remember running 100 yards jumping in an indoor pool?
And y'all asked, you guys said in court, so you just forgot certain stuff. And he's like, well, I didn't forget it, but like that didn't really make sense.
But that's what trauma does to you. That's another thing he was capping about. The trauma makes you remember only certain things. Come on, we from the trauma capital of the world.
That's a fact. What else? I want to hear more of your opinions.
So I do have to add another part that he did say with the whole St. John's things. Yeah. He touched on it, but he didn't finish his explanation when he said that his daughter spoke up against his honor.
That was another one.
He didn't go back to it.
If you raised your kids.
Because I want to know what y'all are talking about.
Right. So basically, he was being honored by St. John's, and his daughters actually came out and said that he doesn't need to be honored because growing up, he never took care of us. They wrote a letter, and it was in print. And for those who are watching, like that did happen. You can search it up.
Yeah.
He touched on it, stopped. And
then he went into
it, but he went into something else and went into his accomplishments and his training facility. So I did, I kept let him continue, but there were some things that was like.
Did you catch anything else?
I I mean, obviously there is the Michael Jordan part as well, and then
What part about Michael
that was
Jordan?
super cap.
Basically, he was saying
That
that
was super cap.
he credited him.
Killer,
Just
that
like, I
was
couldn't-
super cap.
I mean, obviously, I don't know Michael Jordan, but I could not see him going and saying that real quick, whispering in the ear, and then going to play the game. Like, that didn't really make sense. I don't really see
he
that
said
coming from
Mike
him.
walked up to him the first time he ever met him and said, "You're gonna have a great career."
Yeah.
As a rookie.
I could not see that, and I feel like if
I
he
was
said
waiting
that,
for some. That's like, first of all, I'm gonna keep it 100. We never hear Mike giving nobody
That's
no
what I was gonna
motherfucking
say,
props.
like,
Mike
he-
Scotty's
disrespecting
still waiting on his credit.
Yeah, he disses everybody.
And then he said Mike said that from a rookie. That was great.
What else you catch?
So my last thing was just like the fights off the court. He was elaborating a little bit on that. You did ask him to touch up on it. He gave you the story of Larry Bird and other people, but he didn't really get into it.
He's
So it's
a
like
spin king.
He's
When you
spin king.
He's a spin king. When you start asking about one thing, he spin his way out
Yeah.
and start talking about other shit.
And
Look,
what
Jay,
else he said that was
I thought
crazy?
your story was sincere, man. I appreciate you coming through. Murder and Stack got other opinions, man. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. To drag the niggas to your brother, I'm not for that. I'm not saying that happened. It was a little traumatic.
But I will add, and no disrespect to him. We really appreciate you
thank you.
coming out on the show.
Thank you
and
so
speaking
much.
out with us. Definitely heard your story and wanted to hear what you had to say. But people are gonna say a little bit of things. We felt some type of way about some type of things. We're not saying that what you said isn't true. We've got to clarify that. We're not saying that what he said was not true.
Mace said shit ain't
but
true.
Mace did say it. Mace said cap. Mace said cap.
I said it while he was here though, but we couldn't get into all the cap that he was doing
I
because
think
he was capping too fast.
what I think is he knows that he's gonna be questioned about this.
Yeah.
This was 20 years ago, and he got that shit down packed to know how to spin off
Yeah.
and go here, go whatever. But I think he does regret what happened.
Yeah,
I think
for
he
sure.
does. I think he really does.
For sure.
Yeah, and listen, if you're really trying to move on, you start with the truth. That's where you move on from. You're not really going to be able to move on until you address the real truth.
But this is the thing. See, let me tell you something, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I'm not supporting what he did, but when niggas panic, you like, oh, I shot a nigga. Yo, help me do this. Help me do that. So your brain is just all over the place if you're not that type of nigga.
Yeah.
So I'm not supporting what he did, but I get that the nigga panicked and tried to do all that. But elaborating what you just said.
Yeah.
If
When you come back to us,
no.
tell us the truth.
Yeah, but no. What I'm
Yeah.
about to tell you is absolutely right. But what I was saying is, it started a lie.
Yeah.
The whole shit. Once it started a lie,
The lie mobile.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he was going downhill in the lie mobile.
my nigga.
And the speed just got faster.
Yeah, like the shit. After he shot the guy, the very first thing was start planning the lie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So from there, man, it's your
And
choice.
then Benoit did him dirty.
No, but on some G shit,
Yeah.
do you believe he seen Benjamin Benoit last week?
Now we got to have him up here to tell his side.
Yeah, let's find
'Cause
Benjamin Benoit. Reach out to us and let us know if you tried to leave with Jay Will last week when you seen him. Or if you seen him. But real talk, yo, it takes a lot of courage to come up here because we ain't gonna hold no shots.
Yeah.
Or pull no punches. So Jay Will, much respect. Pardon me, Jason Williams, because Jay Will he changed his name to Jay Will. So Jason Williams, we appreciate you.
Of course. And again, Jason, we do appreciate you. Although we have our thoughts, we don't want to take away from the main message. There are a lot of mental health issues, especially in the Black community. There's no joke there. So if you need resources or need help, please reach out. And also, we want to know you guys' thoughts on social media. So make sure to go on Twitter, Instagram, #ItIsWhatItIs, and share your thoughts. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next episode. Welcome back. So today we have special guest and NBA All-Star Jason Williams. Hailing from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, the Phoenix Suns selected him as the 21st pick in the 1990 NBA Draft. He was then traded to the 76ers, and then after he ended up with the New Jersey Nets, which is now known as the Brooklyn Nets. In '97, he led the league in offensive rebounds, and he played in the 1998 NBA All-Star Game. His career came to an end after he broke his leg in a collision on the court. After he faced some legal incidents throughout the years, with one major incident that sentenced him to 5 years in prison. During his sentence, he was moved to Rikers Island. Since being released, he strives to help prisoners, athletes, and citizens with anxiety, drugs, and depression through his Rebound Adventure Therapy program. He also speaks out on athlete mental health. Thank you for being here, Jason.
Hell of an intro,
All
man.
right. Oh, Lord. It is what it is. Thanks for having me.
Nah, man,
I'm
thank
not
you for
Cam.
coming,
Thanks,
man.
mate.
Nah,
Great job.
anytime,
Thank you
man.
very
Yes.
much.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for coming up, man.
Anytime, brother. You know
That's what's
that.
going on.
One love.
Yep. So listen, I want to start by asking you.
Yeah.
You know, you played in the 90s.
Mhm.
What do you think about today's NBA? Is it soft compared to when you played?
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. See,
Yeah.
first of all, like I'm never gonna get back on NBA basketball when I
Okay.
answer this question, right?
Right.
Because they're gonna say, "Oh, Jay going against the league,"
Right.
you
Yeah.
know. So they find the brothers who are a little lighter skinned than I am, put them on there. But I'm gonna tell it like it is because I was doing this before Charles Barkley was doing this.
Right.
Remember, I was on NBC.
There you
I was the
go.
one who brought the humor to it.
Right.
You know, but this is the difference. When me and Oakley and all the other guys, Barkley, we didn't have no Instagram and this, you know,
Right.
we
Yeah.
barely had cell phones.
Yeah.
Right.
So number one was when we saw each other for real.
Right.
You know, it was
You
like,
couldn't
yeah,
type-
right.
you couldn't
type
What
on
was that?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Y'all
we
were
were
fighting for
we was
real?
fighting, yeah, man. So like you see,
Hold on,
cause
you see, off the court, the racing, you had fights with Charles Barkley and Oakley.
all of us, man, because you know what? Say
We
you out with
gotta
some
get
chick and
into
somebody said, "Oh, you know what she said about you and this and that." Oh, he said that, huh?
Wow.
It wasn't like we can get on Instagram and be like a studio gangsters,
Right,
You know, so we
exactly.
brought it to the court,
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Or we go around, you know,
And-
New York and New York. In New Jersey Nets, same kind of area, right?
Right.
So we go
Same
bar to
energy.
bar looking for her.
Right.
You know, you
Yeah.
can't find them, but you know, sooner or later, you're gonna have to be at the Garden.
That's a
And
fact.
that's when, right? That's
That's
a
a
fact.
fact. That's
and
a
that's when
fact.
we got it on. So, you know, Adam Silver wanted more scoring.
Right.
He talked
Yeah.
David Stern into getting away with the hand check.
Right.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
look, you know, y'all
Yeah, I was
play.
telling him
You know what I'm
about
saying?
that,
Yeah.
though. The
If you-
arm bar.
Yeah, right. So, you know,
Derek
once you put
Harper.
that on you,
Yeah.
you can't move. But
Yeah.
if you do move, I know which way you're going.
Right.
So I can get there.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't touch a man, he's just right by
Yeah,
you.
he
Right.
can shake
You
you,
know what I'm
out your
saying?
shoes
So
now.
a lot more scoring, and then you know, like the All-Star game. You know, like when we came in, let me tell you a funny story about the All-Star game.
Right.
So my first year in the league, my first two games were Michael Jordan and then Larry Bird.
Wow.
Right, Michael Jordan was first game. I'm there, it's half court stretching out, and then the whole place erupts. Mike come running out, and I'm like, oh man. He runs up to me and goes, hey, Jace, you're gonna have a great career. And then the place was, I was like, damn, that was Michael Jordan. Now I'm not.
Right.
Now I got, you know, basketball never made me nervous.
Right.
But now I'm nervous.
Mike
They-
runs up to you,
Yeah.
and I might have to call Cap on that.
Yeah.
Mike runs out and just tell you, you're gonna have a
Great career. Me, I was at half court. He wasn't even on the layup line. He came out like 8 minutes late. I didn't know why the crowd was going crazy.
Right.
You know, so make a long story long, he came me that, hey, Jace, you're gonna have a great career, right? And I was like, it got for real there. They put me in the first play of the game, you know, when they put me in, the ball came off, should be easy rebound, bounced off my head, went out of bounds, took me out.
Yeah.
That's all right. Now we go to play Boston Celtics the next night.
Yeah.
We're gonna play against Larry Bird, right?
Right.
Now you understand why we grew up.
Yeah.
I'm on the Lower East Side. So on this side of the bridge, you know, we all Julius
Yeah,
Erving.
we know.
The other side is Knickerbocker. They
Right.
all Boston Celtics.
Right.
You can't play bad. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tear Larry Bird's ass. So Larry heard me say to the coach, put me in, because Charles Barkley came in drunk as hell, right?
Right.
He was hurting that day. So Larry Bird was like, oh, you've been out all night, huh?
Right.
Poof, take that. Then he went over to Rick Mahorn. Come on, Rick, you can't check me. You too big. Boom, finish
Wow.
Rick off. Then he went over to Arm McGillian. Come on, Arm, you still colorblind? Bring your ass out here. Boom. So I'm the only
Bird
one
was
left.
talking crazy
Yeah,
like
always
that?
talking, man. So
Yo,
I'm saying,
Story.
yeah, so I'm like, put me in, coach. And the guy, coach, I'm the only one left, right? So he put me in. So I went out there, I said, come on, man, let's go.
Yeah.
He gave me a pump fake, man, back in the day. I could jump that high. I jumped up in there, came back down. He said, stupid, bap, hit a three.
Right.
So I was like, okay, next time I ain't gonna jump. So he looked at me and said, oh, you ain't gonna jump? Bap, hit another one.
How much Bird had that?
Well, let me tell you something.
let me
Hey,
finish.
hey, Mase, he came back down again,
Yeah.
right? I said, I bet you can't take me on the post. Gave me one of these, run on the post, and went around and dunked it. Now I'm running back down, listening to what my daddy said. Boy, you should have been a brick mason. You know what I'm saying? Shit, maybe I can't play in this damn league. These boys is good. So I ran back down. I told him, I said, look, you want to fight? So I just started grabbing him.
Right.
Just grabbing him, just started told him. So now second half starts, and the same thing. Larry started lighting up one. And, you know, lighting up another one.
Yeah.
Lighting up another one. When they get to me at the end of the bench, I started looking up in the stands with the fans. I was like, please don't put me back in.
Right.
Now that's the only punk story you're gonna get from me because I was scared to go in the game to play against Larry Bird. And then when I got to the rookie team, the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So I get there early. You see I get to the show early. I get everywhere early, want to be prepared. I walk in and Larry Bird's the coach. I said, I ain't seen this month. So he says, nothing. I said, hey, what's up, coach? He ain't say nothing. And then he thought about it. He said, your minutes are on the refrigerator, mother effing rookie. Because that's what he had called me. Yeah. He called me and put the MF the rookie in the game way back.
Crazy.
So, and that's the only thing he said to me. But he said, look, we get 50,000 if we win, 25 if we lose. I want to win.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I went a long way to tell you about the All-Star game. Yeah.
Right.
We got more money, but now, so we played harder. Plus, it was much more pride, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was, look, I heard people say when my mom kissed my dad before he went to work, she knew she wasn't gonna see him for another 12 hours.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's how we were in the NBA. We weren't gonna see you till we see you in another game. Right. And you got the best of me, but now y'all just, these kids get on the computer, it's like they still playing each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody's friends.
Right. Who is the biggest shit talker now that we're talking about this that you played against? Who talked the most shit that you like?
The dirtiest player was the Reverend, excuse me. Excuse me, Mason. AC Green.
Oh man.
Man, all the time preaching and all the time reaching. Yeah. Yes, sir. AC Green was the dirtiest preacher I've ever seen. That is truth there, man.
Who's your GOAT though? Who's the GOAT?
Who's your GOAT?
Yeah.
Man, Will Chamberlain.
Oh man.
You know why? Because now Will Chamberlain was my mentor.
Right.
But he played every game
of
every minute of every second, right? And didn't foul out for a whole season in some damn Chuck Taylors.
Wow.
Right? These guys got sneakers now that come from Mars and they have load management. Right? They're playing 3 or 4 days, day out. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
This dude damn near playing barefoot.
Yeah.
You gave somebody some Chuck Taylors right now, right? They can't wait to get them all.
That's a fact.
That's true.
I seen the one with Michael Jordan said his first thing, his feet was bleeding in them.
Yeah.
And he played at the Garden, man.
And Kareem played in the show, Toes.
Yeah, and Kareem too. Right. He went to my high school,
Right.
So I saw Kareem one time in Harlem, right? I was like, hey, Kareem, how you doing? It's Chase Williams. I went to high school. I was in the league. He said, fuck you.
Yeah.
I said, God.
I don't hear no good stories about Kareem,
I said,
man.
damn, Kareem.
Maybe
I'm all the way to Sylvia's.
Maybe because you call him Kareem.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's what you want me to call him. Mel Cylinder? Lou Alcindor? But he had changed it to Kareem.
Oh,
I think
changed it to
he
Kareem.
probably would whip my ass.
I'm about to say, you better not call that nigga Lou Alcindor, nigga. Smack fire.
Try to set him up. Call him.
What do you think about the comparison? And you're older player, so I may know what you're gonna say. But LeBron and Michael Jordan, what do you think about that comparison? Being that you played against Mike as well.
It's a comparison that gets me in trouble because like one of my best friends who got me out of a lot of trouble and sent me where we'll talk about later is Charles Oakley, right? And Charles Oakley is like LeBron's nephew,
Cleveland nigga.
uncle,
Cleveland nigga.
and Michael Jordan's his best friend, right?
Yeah.
So he caught in the conundrum.
Yeah.
So I answer that question depending on how much he feeling that day, right? Man, why you say that about Michael? That's the old. Why you say that about LeBron?
Right.
But in the beginning, I think Michael was more of a killer, right?
Right.
See, look, I'm telling you for real. LeBron James is a freak athlete.
Yeah.
LeBron James came to play, but Michael Jordan played every game, right? He was like, he didn't sit out. Michael Jordan has not done as much for the community.
But see,
talk
I
about
say that he get mad.
So you are
I say the same thing you said.
Right. But he has done a lot.
That's what I say. I said the same thing.
All right.
I said the same thing.
I can tell you something.
I said the same thing. He don't want to hear outside.
All right. We talking basketball.
All right. So this is the difference. Michael Jordan be smacking on that gum, right? And you foul him, he'd be like, go ahead, do that shit again. You see what happened to you after the game. See, you know.
Mike stepped out after the game.
Yeah, Mike's after the game guy.
Mike
And let me tell you, after the game, he got the brothers with the feather in the cap. Them old cats.
Yeah.
65 sit at the bar, put one bullet in at a time, you know, drink a whiskey. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got no this young holding the gun upside down.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know a story that Mike and these niggas with the feathers in the hat stepped to somebody before?
Man,
Or
you
just
really
heard
gonna
about
get
it?
me in trouble. I seen him. You seen him? You don't mess with Michael. Let me tell you what Michael Jordan do, man. Michael Jordan used to park his Lamborghini, and we didn't have no Lamborghini. We was just getting off Cadillac going into Mercedes.
Right.
You know, and he'd park his Lamborghini in front of the visitor. So that's us.
Right.
And we had to slide across his door to get in there. I remember we had to play with Kerry Kittles one time. Kerry was like, who car is this?
Right.
I said, I didn't want no deal for me because I ain't have to check him. I
Right.
said, Michael Jordan. He said, oh, shit.
Right.
You know, but
Right.
hey,
Kerry
that's the kind of
Kittles? I
game
like
he
Kerry
played.
Kittles,
And take you out in Chicago, take you out all night, right? Because he has,
Lullaby.
he had his own restaurant,
Yeah.
and they act like he up in there drinking water, you know, and we up in there drinking spirits. Next
Yeah.
day, he flying all over you. Not that he had to, and not to take anything from LeBron.
Yeah.
You know, they just two different type of players. They both great. So, you know, I'm always gonna go with my era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My era.
Right. Who is your championship pick for this year?
I'm gonna tell you something. I get emotional when we talk. I was rooting for Dallas,
Yeah.
believe it or not, because let me tell y'all something. Nobody has done more for people that look like us sitting here on this panel for drugs and alcohol and treatment than Mark Cuban. You know, Mark Cuban sees somebody stuff, he'll call you, Jay, I got this guy.
Did
I
that
got this
Delonte
woman.
West too,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, I got this person. Well, you don't have to be. Get this person better. Now, you know, the NBA don't do that. Once you finish, I understand that. I'm finished with them. So he'll go over and then you go to the next cat, right?
Is that mostly for Dallas Mavericks?
No,
player or
it
everybody?
could be for anybody, man.
Anybody.
It could be for anybody. So I kind of put my allegiance toward him.
Yeah.
And then when Kyrie went over there, I was like, all right, we're going to change this thing and it was going to go, you know, the way it is. But it looks like so far, you know, Phoenix, you know, and Phoenix looks pretty good,
Can't
but
go with Dallas as
you
much
know,
as everything you said about
you know,
Pop-
but yeah, you know,
Pop-
Mark Cuban's,
that
you know,
shit ain't
You
working
can
out.
party with Mark Cuban, but
yeah.
you gotta go with Phoenix.
Yeah,
but-
that shit ain't working out. with
Yeah,
Kyrie.
but
That
that's
shit
true.
Not going good.
And then I like Milwaukee.
So you
like
got
Milwaukee.
a Phoenix against
Good,
Milwaukee.
good choices.
Now, who you taking, Giannis or Durant?
That's tough. Y'all got Durant on the show. Giannis been on here yet?
I'm going with Durant.
I'm
no
going.
matter
So I'm
what.
going with Durant because
I'm
he's been on
going-
the show.
Yeah, we're
All
going
right.
with
All right.
He ain't been here yet,
All right.
but that's the whole he's coming up. Man.
All right,
But at the
all
end
right.
of the day, I
All
don't
right.
go against Kevin Durant for nobody.
Right.
That's just me. He dipset and all. That's part of the family, man. So, who was your toughest competition? I would ask you, playing ever. Person who gave you the hardest time.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Oakley.
Charles Oakley. More than Barkley.
You know, more than Barkley. Look, man, Charles Barkley, I played with him for 2 years, right?
All right.
And I played with Michael Jordan in the All-Star game. So I had a chance to practice with them both.
Yeah.
Right? See, Charles Barkley would fight you if you play him too hard in practice.
Wow.
Charles Michael Jordan would fight you if you wasn't playing him hard enough. You get it? So we'd be in the practice and we'd be looking for Charles. Where Charles at? And then Charles all of a sudden he'd be on the side riding the bike, and he used to come in with the hotcakes and sausage. He'll put them in there and he'll roll them up and put the syrup and the butter
practice?
and squeeze it, and then just be on the bike while 1 mile an hour eating it. Once y'all run the floor, you lazy sons of bitches. That's why we can't never win. We ain't gonna never win shit. And pancakes and shit be spitting all over the floor. I played with him for 2 years. He practiced 2 times. And I probably had to get in 10 fights for him. You know, every time he went somewhere. And, you know, I was his bodyguard. Jay, man, you heard what the dude said about me? Knock him out. You know, then my fine came, then my check come. My daddy, it was just me and my daddy. He'd be like, man, you owe these people money. You know?
Barkley only practiced 2 times.
2 times in 2 years.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
Oakley.
Yeah, Oakley. Now, Oakley was my guy when I went on the court. Me, him, and Bruce Smith we had Big Daddies. We had Big Daddies is a place that I owned, and we were in there drinking till about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And And Oakley looked over at me and he said, "Hey man, you best to get home, young buck." And I said, "Get home?" He said, "Yeah, you got a game tomorrow." So who we play? He said, "We play you." I said, "What time is it?" 1 o'clock. It's a 1 o'clock game on NBC at the Garden. So I figured, yo, he came in my place, hooked him with some drinks. He's gonna be all right.
Right.
You know, it's gonna be like one of the games of today's era.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So I walked up to him, I said, "Hey man, boy, I sure am sick, man. We tore it up last night. You good?" He's like, "I feel great." So I was like, "Man, that was kind of something." The ball went up, he said, "Pow!" Hit me right in the mouth.
Wow.
You know, and then that was on. So me and him just wrestled the whole game. Nobody's watching nothing going on with basketball.
Right.
It was just me and him just slumping each other on the ground.
Nice.
You know, but nothing dirty. You know, but just he is the toughest guy.
That
you
is.
know, and it's just like when we go to Miami, man. Like Miami was never that good.
Right.
You know how it is
Yeah.
when you get from New Jersey, you get off the plane in Miami.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Basketball is the last thing on your mind.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They had like 3 buses. You know, the superstar bus, the white boy bus. You know, that was the only bus that got there on time. The guys that didn't play.
Right.
You know, and then my bus.
Right.
You know,
What was on your bus? What was on your bus?
just me and the driver. You know, trying to catch up to the first bus so we don't get fined.
Right.